Hey, Brian here with BS Bassin, another episode here. Today what we're going to be doing is winterizing our camper. This is a Shasta Oasis 21 CK. So most of the Shastas that are 21 feet or Forest Rivers that are like 24 feet to 19 or 17 feet are going to be done very similarly. What you're going to need is you're going to need RV antifreeze and a couple tools, screwdrivers. I've got a 15/16 socket to drain my hot water heater, which I actually already did, and I will show you how to do. And then this is the plug, which I already put some PTFE tape on it to seal it up for my next use. Now, the first thing you're going to have to do in your camper is find out where your hot water heater is for your shutoff valves or bypass valves, as well as your water pump. So that's going to be the first thing here, and if you can come follow me, I've got two openings or access panels here. One is underneath my stove. It's got 4 screws in it, and then the other one is underneath my cabinets, and it has 2 screws. So we're going to start by removing those. Make sure you don't lose your screws. I'm going to put them up here on the back of the countertop. Alright, so if my assistant can get the camera down here, I'll use my flashlight and show you guys what we got. So right here we have our hot water heater, and I've already opened the drain outside. I will show you that in a minute, but the first thing you want to do is drain that hot water heater. Make sure you have no water left in your holding tank as well. So we're going to shut our inlet valve, our outlet valve, and then we're going to open the bypass valve. That allows the water to go from the pump through here to the hot water side without going into your hot water tank. And you do not want any water in the hot water tank in the winter, or your antifreeze to go in it, because it'll take a lot of time to get that antifreeze out and for any water coming out of your sink to be safe. You don't want to do dishes with antifreeze. Now in this access panel here, we have our water pump, and then this is our winterizing tube right here, which we'll be using. And we're going to have to open up the valve on the back side. I hope you can see it. It's a black valve right underneath this big black pipe on the left side. We're going to open that valve up so that the water can be sucked out of here, and we're going to shut the valve that goes down into our water holding tank. It's going to be hard, but I'll show you. So now if you look in there, the valve right here is open, and there's one right behind it. Really hard to see, but that one is closed. Now when we activate our water pump, it's actually going to suck through the tube, and we're going to put that tube in the antifreeze. So here we go. We're going to start doing that. Alright, so once you have your antifreeze ready, we're going to put that tube down into our antifreeze. Make sure it can suck it up. And we're going to turn our water pump on. As you can see, it's sucking the antifreeze out, and it should get up to a pressure and stop. So now we have pressure in the holding tank, or the water lines. Open our hot water, and we want about a cup of antifreeze to come out. Same thing on the cold line. Okay, so those lines are done. We're going to end up having to open up our second jug here. So open up the hot again, make sure you got antifreeze coming out. And we're going to do it in both sides of the sink so that any lines in there, anything in those 2 lines, there's antifreeze in them. So this should be good. Now we're going to go to our next location. We just have to keep watching the antifreeze hose. Make sure cold water's coming out nice and pink. Hot water's coming out nice and pink. Same thing with your toilet. Nice and pink. Now we go to the shower. Wait for that to come out nice and pink. The other side as well. The hot and cold. Very well. Make sure it all drains out of your tub. Now this camper has a bypass for the shower up on the top, but it is a drain back. So what we're going to do is hold this, and I'm going to put this downward and turn one line on. I don't need both. I just need to make sure some antifreeze comes out of it. That way, where this loop is, any water in there actually has antifreeze and won't freeze over the winter. So all the sinks have been finished. That's everything we have. The only other thing we do is try to hold this up and run them out so there's nothing left in the lines really. There's no reason to have anything extra in the lines. Now I turn my pump off, and anything left in the pump as well will actually be antifreeze. Now, what we're going to do is shut those two valves that we had on earlier. So I'll just reach in there and shut them off, and then open the water tank valve, the holding tank valve. We'll put our hose back in. And we're just going to pour a little antifreeze down each sink. We should be okay because we had all the water through, but just to make sure. And then this may be a quart left. I'm going to put this in this tank. Just because this tank, I know sometimes, as everybody knows, the dark tank or the black water tank, it does sometimes have a little something left in it. We don't want anything freezing and breaking, so the only thing in there now will actually be antifreeze. A little poop from the last trip. Alright, so the last step, which I said I had already drained, was here's my hot water heater, and here's the plug for the drain valve. All I did was remove this, all the water drained out. It actually sat for a whole day now. I'm just going to put the plug back in. You could leave this out until spring if you want. But we're just going to put the plug back in and snug it up because we know we have no water in it. And then shut it. Alright, so the last thing I'm going to do here is right under my city water connection I have two valves, and these valves are actually the lowest point in the hot and cold water lines. What I do, make sure you got clean antifreeze coming out of them. Alright, you should be able to just leave these open. I'm a little worried because of my dogs in the yard. I'm going to have to watch them. They're fine. Everything's antifreeze coming out. The last one underneath your freshwater tank, where is it? Right there. It's open actually right now, and that's to make sure that my freshwater tank is completely empty. Now here's a thing you have to do. Don't put antifreeze in your fresh water tank, because you'll never get it all out, and you'll always have a little antifreeze on your food, your dishes, your drinks. You don't want that, so leave that open, let it drain out. You can shut it because it shouldn't have any water in it. I leave it open. I don't think there's any bugs getting in there. Well, hey guys, thanks for watching another episode of BS Bassin'. And Today I hope this helped you guys winterize your camper. I know it's not too much fishing related, but my plan next year is my wife's going to tow the camper or the boat, and I'm going to tow the opposite. So we'll have two vehicles towing, and I'm going to need that camper to be, you know, working correctly, no water lines busted, because trust me, when you get somewhere and something doesn't work, it's not a good day. I don't want that added stress to either a family trip, a hunting trip, or a fishing trip. I hope this helps you guys out. I hope you can save some money winterizing your own camper. Any questions, drop a comment below, and don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe button.